government funding for religious schools, and the conflict has only become more intense since. In 1980, no posting the Ten Commandments in schools. In 1985, no moment of silence either. In 1989, no nativity scenes inside government buildings. In 1992, no prayer at high school graduation ceremonies. And in 2000, no prayer at high school football games, not even in Texas. Proponents of the wall argue that's what's needed if every belief is to be respected.
It is to our credit that we have such a diversity of religious belief. And to welcome people because of diversity, and then to say, well, they don't get to be part of public prayer, and their views can't be represented in city council prayers, et cetera, that all sends a message that's the opposite of what I value America for.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
Now even the Pledge of Allegiance has come under fire. In 2000, an atheist lawyer named Michael Newdow filed suit in California.
Dr. Newdow said that he didn't want his daughter to hear the phrase "under God" in the Pledge of Allegiance. So he sued. He lost at the district court level, but then in 2002, much to the surprise of everyone, he won. And the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals said the phrase "under God" in the Pledge of Allegiance, at least as recited in a public school, is unconstitutional.
The Newdow case went to the Supreme Court on appeal, and in 2004 the court said he didn't have standing to bring the case because his daughter didn't live with him. As it happens, the girl and her mother opposed the suit. So now Newdow is back in California representing a group of parents who do have standing. And in September, a district court in Sacramento said "under God" is unconstitutional. The case is on its way back to the Supreme Court.
I don't believe in censorship, and I don't believe that Michael Newdow, because he's a professed devout atheist, should prevail over the fact that this is a legislation passed by the Congress of the United States. It's the gutting of our religious heritage. It is saying that somehow God is not central to the founding of America and to our liberty even to this day.
The final battleground for religious liberty cases is the Supreme Court. But in small cities and towns across America, the fight usually begins when individuals join with groups such as the ACLU to start confrontations.
What they're doing with separation of church and state is wrong. Separation of church and state can't even be found in the Constitution.
Such as in Redlands, California, a town of 70,000, 60 miles east of Los Angeles.
In the city of Redlands, we have the largest number of churches per capita of any city in the state. So we are known as the City of Churches.
That's why in 1964, Redlands decided to add an image of a cross and church to its city seal. But in 2004, the city got a letter from the ACLU saying the logo had to go.
We only had a certain number of days, not weeks, not months, to remove every cross from every seal. Our city manager and city attorney decided that would be the best thing to do to save a lawsuit and a very expensive battle by the city.
While the city erased, replaced, marked out, and punched out every cross on every seal, a group of citizens rallied around a petition to save the emblem.
70+% of the citizens of Redlands felt that this was wrong.
The issue landed on the November 8th ballot. Yes was a vote to restore the seal and most likely face an expensive battle in court. But religious supporters blinked. The measure failed by a vote of 59 to 41%. Supporters tell Fox News the decision was made because of money, not principle. The 50,000 people of Elkhart, Indiana also didn't ask for a religious fight.
I mean, come on, it's the Ten Commandments. They're good rules to live by no matter what faith you are.
But they got one.
We've got to draw a line somewhere and defend ourselves.
For 44 years, a Ten Commandments display stood here in front of City Hall. Like thousands of other such monuments around the country, it was donated by the Fraternal Order of Eagles in cooperation with Hollywood.
The history of Many of the Ten Commandments displays in this country, it's rather unusual and not well known. A lot of these were publicity stunts to promote Cecil B. DeMille's movie, The Ten Commandments. Many of them kind of got overgrown with weeds or were just sort of neglected for many years. And then, you know, oddly enough, 40 or 45 years later, sparked all this litigation.
Which is more or less what happened in Elkhart when Mike Suitkamp noticed the monument.
To me, it was like, this is where Christians come for justice, not atheists.
Suitkamp is director of the Indiana American Atheists. In 1998, he filed suit against the monument along with the ACLU, saying it amounted to a government endorsement of religion. Elkhart Mayor Dave Miller strongly disagreed.
It was not an endorsement of religion. It was a recognition of who and how our nation was founded and what our laws are based upon.
The mayor decided to take a stand in court. The city won the first round but lost on appeal. In 2001, the mayor appealed to the U.S. Supreme Court. Meanwhile, local citizens ran a grassroots campaign to save the monument.
We had so many people who wanted to get involved. We had yard signs and we had shirts made in the city of Elkhart that says, "We stand for the Ten Commandments."
But the Supreme Court declined to hear the case, and the mayor decided to cut his losses.
I saw that the handwriting was on the wall and we were not going to get the decision we wanted, and I didn't want to fund any more of the ACLU's operation with the poor citizens' taxpayer money.
So in September 2002, Elkhart moved the monument off city property. Why do these battles keep raging? One reason is that where the court draws the church-state line keeps moving.
Establishment Clause jurisprudence is probably the most inconsistent area of jurisprudence before the law. There's multiple tests. Some contradict one another. What the court's going to use is anyone's guess. It's a complete mess.
Perhaps the most famous Supreme Court test is the so-called endorsement test, championed by Justice Sandra Day O'Connor. She cast the swing vote in the majority of the court's nearly 24 Establishment Clause cases in the past 20 years.
Justice O'Connor, for whom I clerked, was a very pragmatic justice. The endorsement test says is that the government may not endorse or stand behind a particular religious message. And the reason it can't is because it makes those who don't believe what the government is endorsing feel like outsiders.
The old joke is we'll know an endorsement of religion when Justice O'Connor tells us if it's an endorsement. Imagine you're a school principal and at graduation, let's say the senior speaker wants to talk about God in his speech. Now, it's tough to say, is that really an endorsement of religion? It's easier if you're the principal just to say, look, no religion at the ceremony. In that way, clearly there's no endorsement of religion if there's no religion.
How cold is the chilling effect on religion? Schools not only worry about mentioning God, they shun the devil too. Last October in Woodbridge, Virginia, the C.D. Hilton High School marching band was ready to give a football halftime performance of a Charlie Daniels classic, The Devil Went Down to Georgia. Controversy ensued and the band director canceled the song. Coming up next, Americans are now fighting back.
I don't even know where to start except to say to this board, shame on you.
God bless America!
I think the American people have just about had it with this. And I'm encouraging people, along with many others now in our society, to stand up and do what's right.
The real issue was how to stand up in a court of law.
Well, let me give everybody a really quick update as exactly what...
And increasingly, a new generation of legal activists are doing just that. Such as Jay Sekulow, who in 1990 started to blaze a legal trail when he represented a group of public school students who wanted to hold Bible clubs in classrooms after school. Sekulow took the case all the way to the Supreme Court and won, dealing the opponents of religious expression a rare defeat.
You were outgunned, outnumbered.